Hi, Carl here for ProAV TV, and welcome to this series going a little more in depth on Kinefinity's lineup of cinema cameras. So today we're talking about the MAVO. Now this is, if you like, the middle child in the Kinefinity family. There's the Terra 4K at the entry level end, there's the MAVO LF at the high-end flagship end, and then the MAVO sits in between the two. And what it essentially does is it gives customers the choice of stepping up from the Terra 4K to get most of the features of the MAVO LF. It's got the higher resolutions, it's got the better codecs, it's got the better processing, but without going fully into that large format camera system. In fact, if you know that you want a super 35mm camera platform, there's actually a lot of advantages of just sticking with the regular MAVO than the MAVO LF. So the aim of this video is to help you decide, is the MAVO the right choice of the lineup for you? The MAVO has a super 35mm 6K sensor inside. Now super 35mm is a format that we all know very, very well. It's about as close as we've got to an industry standard sensor size, or at least in cameras like this. And a lot of the most popular high-end lenses that our customers ask us for, lenses like the Fujinon MK zooms like I've got here, or Sigma's 18-35 and 50-100, or Canon's CNE lenses like the 18-80. All of these lenses are specifically designed for super 35mm sensors, and so work perfectly with the MAVO. It has a native ISO of 800. So it doesn't have quite the low light performance of the MAVO LF that has that dual native ISO. But because it's a native 6K sensor at super 35mm, if you know that super 35 is the sensor size that you want to use for your projects, then this is going to get you true 6K images. Whereas on the MAVO LF, because that's also a 6K sensor, you're going to have to crop into that 6K to go down to super 35 from its full frame sensor. So you're going to lose a little bit of resolution there. So that if you know you're going to be using super 35 for most of your projects, the MAVO might actually be a better choice because it gives you that lovely detailed 6K imagery with a very low noise floor and wide dynamic range. I really love the pictures that come from the MAVO. Another advantage of the MAVO using a super 35mm sensor is that it works really well with some of the most popular anamorphic lenses on the market at the moment. There are a few anamorphic lenses that are designed to cover a full frame or large format sensor, and if those are the ones that you want to use, the MAVO LF is going to be an amazing choice for you. But the likelihood is that you'll be using anamorphic lenses designed for super 35mm coverage. And if that's the case, the MAVO is going to be the right choice. You still get all of those anamorphic resolutions. You still get the de-squeeze in camera so that you can send a de-squeezed image to your monitors. So it's very, very easy still to work with anamorphic, but you get all the benefits of that 6K sensor. So because it actually adds resolution vertically rather than takes it away from the sides, you get a true 6K open gate image in anamorphic with a super 35mm coverage. So you get very high resolutions once you've de-squeezed in post. So if you know that you're shooting anamorphic with super 35mm coverage lenses, the MAVO is going to get you a higher resolution file than the MAVO LF. Just like the other models in the lineup, the MAVO gives you a choice of two record formats. You've got ProRes and you've got RAW. RAW at the moment is Cinema DNG, and you can choose different levels of compression. You can choose 3:1, 5:1, or 7:1. So you can choose how compressed that RAW is and how small the files are and how manageable they are to work with. Most of our customers though are using ProRes because it doesn't drop in quality much at all, and it's a much more streamlined, simple and straightforward workflow and much easier to get those good looking pictures. Especially with the MAVO and the MAVO LF, because Kinefinity have enabled ProRes 444XQ. And that really is remarkable on cameras this small, this low weight, and this low cost. 444XQ is almost unheard of in the industry, especially in cameras like that. So you don't really sacrifice much at all by going down to ProRes. If RAW is what you are after though, you might be interested in the third RAW format, which is called Kine RAW. Now we've seen Kine RAW in some previous Kinefinity cameras, but this is a complete new redesign from the ground up RAW format called Kine RAW 2.0. We don't know too much details about this at the moment, but Kinefinity are very actively working on this. And this is going to be a new format designed for this new camera platform from Kinefinity rather than their previous generation cameras. And we're hoping that this is going to be a compressed RAW format in a single file structure rather than Cinema D&G, with a much easier workflow than Cinema D&G or previous Kine RAW. As always with Kinefinity cameras, the MAVO can do some great slow motion in camera. Using the full 6K image, you can get up to 50 frames a second. If you then crop that down vertically, so you lose the top and bottom of your image to go into what they call the wide aspect ratio for a bit more of a CinemaScope feel, you can get up to 66 frames a second in 6K. If you then crop that in to micro four thirds, so about the same sort of sensor size as the Terra 4K, you can get 100 frames a second in 4K wide or 192 frames a second in 2K wide. So it's roughly the same sort of slow motion as you get on the Terra 4K once you're in its same size sensor mode. But then it gives you the extra option of being able to go wider to its true Super 35mm sensor for a little bit of slow motion, for sort of 50 frames a second or 66 frames a second, about half speed slow motion, but using the full 6K resolution. So if you're trying to choose between cameras in the Kinefinity lineup and Super 35 is the platform that you're used to, that's the one that you use the most, that's what your lenses are for, that's what your clients expect, and you see no need or desire to step up to a full frame or large format world, then the MAVO is going to be the right choice for you. It is a step up over the Terra 4K. I really love the 6K images that come off the MAVO. They've just got such a nice detailed feel to them in exactly the right way. The MAVO is one of my favorite cameras to shoot with. I really enjoy filming with the MAVO. So if you've got any questions at all, please do leave a comment down below in the comment section and I'll do my best to get back to you. And the contact details for our sales team, either pick up the phone or drop them in an email, is down in the description, as of course are the links to the ProAV website. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.